evening.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. How was your Monday?
I was good. Worked, went to Target,
Okay. How was your weekend?
worked all weekend. It's nothing except for Sunday.
You worked a
Friday.
lot this weekend.
I did.
I
Yeah.
feel like you worked a lot.
How about you?
Good. We had football yesterday. I feel like something else happened on Saturday. Oh, Saturday was my I totally forgot about it. I was totally half an hour late to it. My homeowners association annual meeting.
Oh, annual meeting.
So for those of you guys unfamiliar with homeowners associations, we have the board of directors is like a bunch of people, at least the way mine's set up. There's like these officers, there's like president, vice president, whatever. And then there's members at large. And I don't really know what members at large do. I'm one of them. I'm not really sure what that means, but I'm there. And so we meet every month and we just do, board issues like, oh, we had these complaints about this. Oh, that's a board issue, neighbor issue, right? Neighbor's issue. Oh, this retaining wall's failing, oh, our landscaping bid, contract is up for renewal. Let's go, or whatever the stupid nonsense is. And then once a year, we have the annual meeting, which is like an in-person meeting. It's a big special meeting and and we elect new members. It's a huge fucking debacle. Let's just say it's a huge fucking debacle, right? So I forgot about it. I'm like cruising on Facebook and I'm like, oh shit, I saw this post. I'm like, fuck, so I throw my kicks on and I run down there. And not really, I didn't really run. I got my car and I drove to the pool parking lot. And then so I go up and I happen to come in the middle of some other discussions about something. So I'm listening for a while, going back and forth, and then I end up speaking about something. And we have this one resident who's just very combative for no reason.
There's always one.
Well,
there's always one.
We have more than one. So before I was on the board, I was one of the moderators of our Facebook group. Now, homeowners association Facebook group pages. If y'all know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about, right?
Do you like stress, Katrina?
Yeah.
Well, do you like being stressed?
After years of running the Instagram, the frauded media Instagram, and the kinds of like shit that I dealt with, like the fucking homeowners association Facebook group was nothing, right?
Gotcha.
It was nothing comparatively. So this guy had received multiple warnings. We had a progressive disciplinary system, as it were. But our rules provided for progressive, like if you violate the rules of the posting, you could get, warned and then muted and then, whatever. And eventually, so he was muted. And then he had gotten the point where he was kicked off for like a temporary, undeterminate period of time. And I was the one elected to tell him. So I'm like, and that conversation resulted in me blocking him.
Oh my God.
Let's just put it that way. Well, he was very animated about some nonsense at the meeting. And he said, like, so you're telling me? And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. I really want to make sure I understand. Wait, your position is such blah, 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 blah. I'm trying to make sure that I had a clear position, right? What he was saying so that I could see if I needed to respond to it or maybe I agreed with it. I don't know. I didn't understand what his position was. So I was wanting to make sure I clarified it. And he was like, yeah, and he would just not respond. I'm like, is your position XYZ? And he wouldn't let me finish. And and I'm like, no, and he would go on and on and on. I'm like, that's it's a yes or no question. It's not an essay question. Like,
yeah,
and that set him off even more. He like started to come at me and people started, it was a madhouse. He started recording me after that from his position, like standing up against the tree. I'm like, okay. So I sat back and I recorded him. Nothing happened. I don't care. Like I'm nothing but a consummate professional-ish, professional-ish. It's fine. Like, and then I get a text message from one of my friends who's like, what happened at the annual meeting? Blah, 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 so-and-so,
oh my God.
Trying to come after you? Like, I'm like, ooh, this story's going to get around. Like, next thing is going to be like, he attacked you and you like body slammed him. Like, it's going to like turn into this like whole story. So like, by the time the next meeting rolls around, it's going to like be this huge story. I mean,
Yeah. So he came after you, but then wanted to start recording you.
I know. He's one of those guys, right?
Right. Of
Like,
course.
he's that guy. Yeah. So, and I didn't even necessarily disagree with his position.
Yeah.
But I couldn't quite figure it out. And I wanted to make sure I understood it right so that I could respond appropriately with like the appropriate citations or whatever. Like, oh no, that's in our, you know, articles of incorporation, or that's whatever, our board of conduct, whatever. I don't even care anymore. I don't even care. I don't even want to check my my HOA email until like before the next meeting. So it's going to build up, and that's it. Like, nobody, the pool's closed, so I don't have to be on top of it to make sure that like people need, you know, who need last minute pool passes, or I also was in charge of like reservations for like the pool patio. Yeah. And all that stuff, you have to, you know, I have to be making sure I'm answering my emails and, you know, on top of it, making sure if people are reaching out to me and this and that and stuff. But now, like, the pool's closed, everything's open. Like, I don't need to be looking at nothing. We can't discuss, like, I'm just like, yeah, like, can we just go back to yelling about like dog people not picking up after their dogs, like, right? And in our area, trash is a big issue because you don't necessarily have to have a trash can. Really? Like, when you put your trash out, you can just put bags out, and it's yeah, I know. That's weird. Some of it is because we're in rows of townhouses, right? You've seen my how they are. So I guess like if you're in the middle of that, like rolling trash cans out from the back around is like too much of a burden in some areas. Apparently this has been addressed before, and it's from history, it's not a good one, but it's like half the people have trash cans and the other half like just pile their trash bags at the corner. Like do you guys have a raccoon problem? Oh, we have all kinds of problems. Vermin problem. And then they're complaining that we have rats. Well, gee, I wonder why we have rats and we have to pay for pest control. But we have people who are like just throwing their stupid shit in. There's like piles of shit. You know, here's just bags of, you know, chicken bones and shit, you know. Yeah. We use cans, and several of us around use cans, but you know, as my dogs like to tell me, when there's a neighbor rolling their trash cans back and forth, my dogs want to tell me everything. Anyway. Screw that guy. So, anyway, so that was my weekend. And then we had football on Sunday, and that was good because the Bills won. Finally, because the first week was not pretty. It was very ugly. So, that was good. And then now it's Monday, and it's Monday. Yay for Mondays. That's it. Yeah. I did an errand running to the grocery store to get some meds for my UTI, because that's fun. That sucks. Ladies, am I right? So I've been peeing orange all weekend and did a virtual visit with the doctor today. I'm about to turn 49 years old. I know what a UTI feels like. I've never had one. The fuck? Never had one, no. Surprisingly, yeah. Okay. I know. Wow. Weird. Do you have magical vagina? I don't know. Is your vagina magical? Maybe. Oh. Yeah, I don't know. Okay. A couple of my friends, one friend gets them like every 3-4 months. Yeah. It's crazy. I was getting them, like, there was a period of time in my life where I was getting them so regularly. Like, I would get like 5 or 6 a year. It was awful. Wow. And this was like 20 years ago, when you didn't like, even like Peridium, the stuff that makes you pee orange, like that's over the counter now, but like it wasn't always. Like, you know, like you had to get a prescription for that. And you had, you know, like you could like, and then I remember it started, like, yeah, maybe it was about then. It was like it started to be where you could at least get that till you could get into your doctor, but then you had to be in person going to the doctor and pee in a cup. Yeah, do all the stuff. I mean, they did tell me, they're like, if after 5 days, you know, you still have symptoms, then, come in. And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Like, that's not a problem. But I was hoping it wouldn't like carry, like I started to feel it come on Saturday. And so I was like, oh, well, maybe it won't turn into a full-fledged UTI. You know how well, you don't know. I was gonna say, how? No, you don't know.
Not personally, no, but
feeling it come on, you can I'll take the Peridium and I'll start flushing, tons and tons of fluids to just try to flush my bladder out, flush the infection, flush anything that may be causing potential to cause an infection. And yeah, that didn't work, because then today I was still like, okay. So I was able to do a virtual appointment, which is good.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, hopefully you start feeling better soon.
Yeah. And I'm sure it'll be fine. I've been, pushing fluids and, all the things.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, I used to get them so frequently, and now I don't anymore. It's really funny, actually. I used to have a standing prescription to take like a prophylactic antibiotic after sex, after having sex.
Dang.
Yeah, to help prevent it. Even though I would like shower and do all the things and pee and do all the things you're supposed to do, like I would still get them.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Oof. So it's not like I don't know how to treat a UTI at home to like make myself more comfortable. But then I was able to start the antibiotics today, so that was good. A couple days on that, and I'll be good. It's not like I like taking antibiotics, so
right. Yeah,
but something like that, it's okay. It's like one scenario I'm like, okay, doing it.
Yeah,
because I've given it a few days to try to, but in any case, here we are. It's Monday. Well, it's Monday that we're recording this. I'm not sure when this is air. I'm sorry. I hate it when I do that. But we're covering Sister Wives, fresh off of Sister Wives. You and I both watched it today, Monday, just not long ago. So it's fresh in our minds. I forgot what the name of this one's called.
When the Going Gets Tough.
Right. There wasn't a whole lot to this episode. You thought it was kind of boring.
I did.
Yeah.
I feel like the whole season has been boring.
I don't think so. I don't think it's been boring. I thought it was interesting.
I feel like they keep showing kind of like 90 Day Fiance. They're showing the same clips over and over.
They are doing a lot.
Oh my God. If I see Janelle and Kody, actually, you know what? I actually kind of like it when I see her say fuck you to him. Yeah. I could see that over and over again. But
it's like all we're getting is so we're getting Christine and Janelle being happy together.
Yeah.
And then we're getting Meri and Robyn sitting outside Robyn's house freezing, talking and crying about, I didn't know.
They were outside of Meri. Well, they were outside of Meri. They were outside of Meri's house this episode.
Oh, were they?
And I knew that because I was like, oh, Robyn goes to visit Meri at her ginormous house that she doesn't need. Right. While Janelle's living in a tiny apartment.
God.
Make it make sense. I was reading a lot of the comments on your social media today.
Oh, yeah. Because I posted the Meri thing.
Yeah. And a few people have brought up, maybe it wasn't just on yours, maybe it was just on other things I've seen, that we haven't heard Meri talk about Leon at all.
I know.
Right. Like nothing. Like,
and I brought this up. I was mentioning this. Like this. Okay. All right. Well, do you
think they just didn't want to be on that show anymore?
It's possible. But we're gonna talk about the Airbnb or about the B&B, whatever, all that stuff. So we can get into all of that. I don't necessarily think the episode was boring. I think that there wasn't like a ton of different like activity, but there was a lot that was said and done. And I feel not like a lot. I feel like other episodes, it's not as much as other episodes, but there was, I feel like, a decent amount of conversation. Enough things that I was yelling about Kody and Robyn, but that's par for the course. Yeah. So if we want to go ahead and get started.
Yeah, so previously we see that in the last episode, Robyn thinks the world has fallen apart because of the Christmas incident with the boys and the families not seeing each other. And then we again see Janelle and Kody fight for the 100th time.
Another clip of the same fight.
Right. And this episode starts off with Janelle and cooking in her little tiny kitchen.
Oh, yes.
And which actually looks like my kitchen in my tiny apartment. In fact, the layout is pretty similar. I was like,
I
wow.
mean, I think haven't we all, hasn't everybody lived in that apartment? Like, I mean,
Oh,
like
yeah.
that looks like exactly like the layout of many of my early apartments, and not
Yeah.
early, like apartments mixed it. You know what I mean? Like I've had many apartments that have looked like that.
Definitely. And
For sure.
Christine's rolling in giant bean bags that her and Kody bought together, but she hates.
That's right. So she's like, she wants to have furniture to her house, like a piece of furniture, whatever. But she wants this bean bag, and they show the pictures of it. And I'm like, okay, I get that. I use a moon pod for my pillow, so like not the big size moon pods. Those are
Wait,
like,
what's a moon pod?
they're like they're advertised on like late night TV, like infomercial type thing. Or if you Google it, like,
okay, I'll have to Google
it. They're these giant like bean bags, right? And they're really comfortable, I guess. I mean, I've never sat in an actual one. I don't think I've ever seen one in person. But they have mini ones that are like their pillows, right? So I'm like, I'm always searching for the perfect pillow because, as you know, my neck is jacked up, right? And so I got one of those, and now it's like this little, it's not huge. So I have this small pillow, and that's what I sleep on now. It's my moon pod pillow. Like okay. It was like a impulse buy at 2 a.m. But it was like the best impulse buy I've ever done. So I don't have to look for pillows anymore. Like I love it. It's great.
Oh, so. Nice. Well, Janelle says that their relationship is better, meaning Janelle and Christine's relationship is better now that there's no jealousy. And obviously that's because Kody's not there, and they're, I think, commiserating together sort of about their relationship with Kody. And they're getting along so well that Christine says that her neighbor is moving out of the townhouse, and she says, well, Janelle, maybe you could, if you want to move in.
Say this?
Yes.
You could move in there.
Hey, it'd be and I think that they should move in together completely and save money because they're all suffering with money after this bullshit. So, I mean, let's go back to being sisters without the mister. Remember what I said that like a while ago?
Sisters without the mister.
Yeah, that's what I would do. Their kids are pretty much all grown,
Yeah, right.
Hey, why not?
Savannah, right? Savannah and Truly, right?
Right. 2 left. But it's nice to see them getting along, and
it is, and they are just having a blast together, and I love that.
Me too. And I love how Kody hates it.
I love how every time they show Kody talking about it, it's like, and I think this is later because I think I have it in my notes about something he said later about like it's now suddenly like Janelle and Christine teaming up against him. And it's like before it was Christine, just like his narrative changes every single time, like, and it's never to shifts to, oh, I might have done something wrong. It's always like, oh, no, Christine doesn't like she's always complained about polygamy, and now it's, oh, they're teaming up against me, and it's like, Kody, it's not about you. They're not like hanging out and exchanging beanbags because like they're like, ooh, this is gonna piss off Kody. No, it's not about you. I promise you, it's not about you. But narcissism can't see that.
And then what's funny, because then he tries to make it about him.
Like he does. Him and Robyn both. Robyn trying to Me Too off the Kody never spent any time with us because he's always at Robyn's, and Robyn's like, yeah, me too, and I'm like, bitch. Yep. Really?
She's just as delusional as Kody. Definitely. Well, Janelle's debating whether or not to stay in Flagstaff or move because she is attached to Flagstaff. But then later on, Christine does make a statement like, okay, Kody doesn't even visit Savannah. They don't see each other. They live 30 minutes away. So why is she in Flagstaff? Yeah. And I get that, Savannah's in school and she doesn't want to uproot her from that. But there really is no reason.
Right. Well, I mean, obviously when Christine's going to mention if Christine mentions Janelle's not going to be able to be like, oh yeah, make a split second decision. But like, as she thinks about it, I think she's going to come to realize, wait a minute, like that exact thing that you're just saying, like there is no real reason for her to be there,
Right.
Like at the moment she hasn't, I think she's made the decision that she's left Kody, but she hasn't admitted it to herself that she is until probably just that moment.
Yeah, and I'm sure
she's going, wait a minute, what am I tied to here?
Right. And maybe she did have some sort of hope that he would man up and communicate and do all the things, and she's realizing he's not. So what's there left? There's nothing left at that point.
Right.
Well, Savannah mentions that Kody hasn't talked to her since her birthday, which is early December, and now it's after New Year's, I believe, that they're filming.
Yeah, they said it's early January.
Yeah.
This whole scene broke my heart.
It did. Especially after last episode. Last episode, we see Kody buying all of his kids those little dirt bike thingies or whatever.
No, not all of his kids, just Robyn's kids.
Sorry, that's what I meant. Yes, Robyn's kids at his
all
house.
Of Robyn's kids.
Right. Well, those are the only kids he has, it seems like. That's why I said that, right? You know what I mean? And he can't even call Savannah. Can't even wish her a happy or Merry Christmas. What the fuck?
That whole scene was so heartbreaking because they're talking about, obviously they had talked about it before because Savannah's standing right there, right? She's sitting right there. So obviously that wouldn't have been the first time they mentioned it in front of her and stuff. So, they're mentioning this. So dad, not only did dad not get her a gift for Christmas, but he hasn't spoken with her in a month, hasn't called her, hasn't contacted her, anything like that. And one of the other parts of the scene, you show Robyn, being so upset about, the boys. And if I had known the boys were going to be here, I would have fought for us all to be together. And then the kids exchange and she made it all about her and whatever and stuff. But she was talking about how tragic it was that the boys and everybody were so close to her and she couldn't see them. And she felt, such a slight on her because of course she made it all about her.
Mm-hmm.
And she's talking about how tragic it was that they were so close and she couldn't see them.
Yeah, okay.
Will she also think it's tragic when she finds out that Savannah was completely 100% ignored?
Right. And how does she justify that? How can she sit there and say, oh, Kody, you did the right thing? Yeah, no. Like, what is she? I already know what goes on behind closed doors. I know she says something to him. Kody, maybe you should call Savannah. No, Robyn, I'm not, because, and then he twists it around, switches the narrative like every fucking narcissist, and makes it him the victim. And then before you know it, Robyn doesn't even, they're probably not even talking about Savannah because Robyn's distracted.
Robyn, I think, has this super manipulative way of thinking about things and twisting things because she puts herself off as, I just really want to support the boys and being, getting back together with their dad. Right. But she's like, then she says, she's like, I want them to have this, but then she says, but, which, when someone says, but, ignore everything I just said. Now I'm going to tell you what I really think. She's like, but I didn't want there to be a big fight erupting on Christmas either, which is the exact same justification Kody used when he's like, we don't want to be like an alcoholic family where we're just not talking about what's behind the scenes when there's really this fight. Like they're not actually getting along. They're just going to pretend to get along for the sake of the holiday.
Yeah.
But it sounds like that also originated from Robyn as well. She, she puts herself off there as like, I really just wanted it to be about the boys, but I just didn't want there to be this fight and stuff. And she tries to make it that she's this victim.
I think her and Kody,
but her words show that she was thinking the exact same thing.
No, I think they talk about it before they film. I think they go and they talk about every single thing that's going to get blown up out of proportion, and they kind of plan and scheme what they're going to say. I really do.
That they realize.
When I say they, I should say Kody tells Robyn what to say and how to feel. Sorry. I don't think there's much room for two people to come together and scheme. I think he just is like, okay, Robyn, we got it.
Yeah. Or any idea has to be, or any idea that Robyn might have, she has to make it seem like it's Kody's idea.
Yes.
Just to like inception that shit.
And you know, Christine says she's so angry. You could tell how passionate Christine was about this.
Mama bear.
Right. And she said it's so easy for Kody to fix things. All he needs to do is pick up the phone and call his kids.
Yeah.
Kids love their parents. You know what I mean? And I feel like a lot of kids are very forgiving to a point, right? When your parent call, if Kody were to apologize and whatever, I don't see why that relationship couldn't be in the direction of being repaired. I'm not going to say
right,
but
there's
moving in the right direction, right? But to not call your own flesh and blood for no reason, because let's be honest, Savannah didn't do anything.
If the mom's not there to facilitate it, that he doesn't have a relationship with his kids.
Right.
That's clear, obvious. That's clearly obvious right there.
Yep. Crazy. Well, then Robyn, this is when I said Robyn goes to visit Meri at her home. That's too big for her. And we hear about the text chain messages between Christine and Robyn. Said she's done with it, and that was the end of that. So God knows, I wish nobody's sharing these messages on the show, because I want to know what these screenshots of these messages say. Because I can only imagine they're going after each other.
Yeah.
And
the kids gift exchange thing that went off the rails. Like, I would love to see that.
They said Christine said everything came out in those messages that people were holding on to.
All of these resentments, all of the kids had against Robyn and her kids, and they felt attacked. And it was like, oh shit, they're saying what they really feel.
Right. And by the end of the messages, they decided not to get together for Christmas because it was obvious that there was separation in the family between everyone. Oh.
So during this conversation, it was the conversation they were talking about, like the year that Kody bought all these gifts for Christine and totally ignored Meri.
I wrote that down, but I have it further down in my notes.
I'm
not sure.
I couldn't remember.
Well,
Robyn sabotaged the gift exchange because she's a selfish twat and made it all about her. That's my notes. Okay.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Well, then Meri's being interviewed, and she said she was sad because she didn't know Isabel was in town. And she says it's hurtful and doesn't know why Robyn was telling her this information. And
because they didn't contact Meri. You want to go hang out with her.
And of course, Robyn's like, I didn't know. Meri didn't know. Or whatever bullshit Robyn was spitting.
Right. She 100% knew, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And though I think all that happened because Mykelti and Robyn are close. Mykelti is close with Robyn. So Mykelti had her siblings with her when she went over there. Right. Yeah. And then poor Savannah didn't get any of that because her brothers weren't invited. And then dad's not talking to mom because dad's a selfish twat. And mom's not calling dad because Janelle's like, fuck dad.
Right.
And then
poor
Savannah.
Well, then Kody, I'm sorry, I can't help it. Cody's being interviewed, and he says him and Meri visit once in a while, and that they're better off as friends than a married couple. And he said this so many times in different ways, and I'm just like,
he also says here, though, up until COVID, everything was intact.
Yeah.
But it's like, you were treating Meri like shit for years, and she even says that.
Yeah. Yep. Well, then Janelle says she's not going back to what she had before, and that she's coasted over the problematic things that she was fine with back then, but now she's not okay with them. So
right.
Yep. Power to Janelle.
Yeah. She's like starting to see things. And what I think was interesting is like this episode you saw, I feel like there was a lot of it from Janelle and Christine of them talking more and more of these things that we've all said that we've seen, but we're like, why don't they see it? But they're saying it all now. Like there's more and more, like Christine and stuff was saying how, how like favoritism towards Robyn and her kids, he'd always been. And they said that for several episodes. Mm-hmm. But then there was other things where, oh God, I don't know. Maybe we'll get to it and I'll remember. But there were other things in this episode, but I'll have to see if we get to it. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah. So then Kody says many of the family members think that there was favoritism during COVID and that they're all lying, which doesn't make any sense, Kody.
They're all lying.
Right. And that's when Janelle starts talking about being open to the possibility of plural marriage again. I was like, what? We mentioned that before in another episode. She said that, but
yeah, I think it was part of the same episode, and they're doing the 90-day fiance thing where we're seeing the same episode carry or the same station carry from episode to episode. Yeah, and she's like, because I have a note here where it says Janelle just needs to decide she's divorced, just like Christine did, because part of that conversation, she's like, I don't know, like, am I like, what are we? And she's like, I'm not divorced, am I? I mean, we're separated. I'm separated. I'm like, that's what she just needs to decide.
Right. And like, she does still, unlike Christine, she still has that religious faith. And
well, so she's questioning it clearly.
Yeah, but she did go on to say like how divorce works, and they don't use the term divorce. What was the term they used? Something else. But so they'd have to do that and yada yada yada. Whereas Christine was just like, peace, I'm out. I'm not legally married to this jackass.
Yeah.
Or do I care about what
I suspect that Christine went through a lot of those same thought processes. It's just that by the time we saw it on camera, she'd already been through it, Right. Janelle's like just like in the middle of this stuff. And so we're seeing this on camera.
Right. And Janelle even said if she moves or whatever, she would want to join like another church and find her people again. So she's still going in that direction even after all this. She's looking at continuing.
Christine still believes in God, like a God.
Yeah, but she doesn't believe in the church.
Just not the same church.
Yeah.
She did before. So maybe Janelle will find.
I hope she finds peace.
Her peace with her religion,
Well, then we get to this really interesting story that none of us have heard before.
Oh, yeah.
And this is where Meri was telling an old Christmas story about how everyone in the family was opening up gifts. And this particular year, Kody decided to give Christine a lot of gifts, probably because Christine was mad at him or whatever. And whatever, yada, yada, jealous. So Kody pours all of his eggs into the Christine basket. She's opening up these gifts, and Meri gets absolutely nothing. Not one gift. And who was it? Janelle or Christine said to go like,
oh yeah, go
find something basically. Yeah. And he pulls out a hoodie
and just gives her the hoodie.
Yeah. And when I guess the producer asked him about that, he says, I don't remember it, but that's where I guess resentment builds. And I'm like, so
you think?
Acknowledging the fact that the act of not getting your wife a gift creates resentment. So there's that, but you conveniently don't remember that happening.
Yeah. Yeah. And Janelle makes an interesting point in one of her interviews is that, plural marriage works with the premise that all the wives are getting equal time. When wives are not being treated equally, that dynamic is off in plural marriage, therefore can't really work, is kind of where she was going with that. And she's just like, we weren't getting equal time, like it just wasn't happening. And this is the story which I thought was hilarious.
And you know what, here's the thing, so in a group of any like 4 or 5 friends, right, you're gonna have people that are closer together. I don't care what anybody says. You can have 4 best friends, 2 are gonna be even better friends, and that's just the way it is, and that's fine. But like, I don't think anybody can sit there and promise that they're gonna create all wives equal. I'm sorry, in any situation, you're gonna like one person more than another. I hate to say it, it sounds horrible and wrong and whatever, but
among the reasons I don't think polygamy can work.
Exactly. It's like human nature. You're gonna be drawn to somebody over another. I'm sorry. Maybe you'll be sexually compatible with one person more than the other.
Right. Or different things, anything,
Right. Well, anywho, so now we hear another conversation about Meri talking about how she started at one point keeping track of all the nights that Kody spent away from her and how much time he was spending with everyone, and that he in fact was spending less time with her. And Robyn was like,
I want to make it clear, I wasn't tracking like where he was. I was just tracking when he was with me and when he was not with me.
Right. And Robyn said that Christine and Kody spent Robyn felt upset 1 month because she noticed that Kody wasn't with her at all. And this was the 1 month out of their whole entire marriages that Kody spent 25 days with Christine. And he did it out of testing the relationship to see if it would make it better. And I'm like, that's playing games, not communicating to your other wives what's going on. Right. So like, Robyn felt hurt for once. That was the only time Robyn lived a plural marriage, was when, I mean, because she actually had to share him.
I do not believe for 1 second that she tracked the time, first of all, and second, that if she did so, or to do so would show that she had equal or less time than anybody else. I think she's full of shit. I don't think this thing happened. She's trying to Me Too this situation. And I don't.
Well, no, Christine admitted it. She said Christine said he spent 25 days.
Oh, just that 1 month. But I don't think, because Robyn was all, because Meri's like, I did this and I tracked the time in. Robyn's like, I did too, and done. That was that happened to be. She tracked, and it happened to be that 1 month where she didn't get equal time.
Oh, of course.
None of that makes sense to me. None of it makes sense. So sorry, Robyn. I don't believe you.
Yeah,
I do not believe you.
Yep. And then let's see. Okay, now this is where shit's getting real. So Christine said that Robyn knew Kody was at her house the whole time, and she didn't do anything about it.
Or actually take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Yes, welcome back, everyone. So Christine said in therapy, because they all went to therapy over.
Oh, that's right. Do you remember
anger.
that?
Yes,
when they were all therapy together?
Yes. And she told the therapist that he was always at Robyn's house. And both Kody and Robyn denied that. So this was where Christine was mad, because she said Robyn had the opportunity to stand up and say, yes, Kody, you spend more time with me and you should be spending more time with the other wives. But she didn't. So at that point, Christine.
And she knew damn well she was getting more time than anybody else.
Of course. And so Christine felt like betrayed. She felt like she could never trust Robyn. I can't imagine going to therapy with people that are just assholes and not in,
And that's what's interesting is like at the time we were watching it, I remember watching those therapy episodes and stuff and going, God, it's just because he's Robyn's his favorite and he's spending all his time with Robyn and not with anybody else, but nobody will say it. Well, apparently they were saying it. They just weren't airing it. And now they're showing, Christine, I think this was the other thing I was talking about from earlier. She's saying how even back then she was saying these things out loud.
Yeah.
And Robyn knew it, she was verbalizing it. Everybody said it. Everyone's been saying this, we've been saying it, as viewers, we've been saying it for years. Right.
Yeah. I just had a thought. So I know, so you know how these women will write prisoners in jail, like love letters, and they're like writing serial killers and crazy shit because they've got their own mental issues. Right. Do you think, I already know it's happening. How many letters and messages do you think Kody gets from crazy women?
Probably such an obscene amount that it would make me sad and angry.
Yeah. I was just thinking about that. I was like, what kind of sick women are writing Kody? I want to be like groupies. I want to be your next wife.
Right. He's just going there. He and Robyn are going through that going.
Yeah. They're going to be on the next episode of season of Seeking Sister Wives.
Seeking Sister Wives with the nanny. No.
Oh God. Oh.
And we've said this before, and it was brought up again when I was group watching and stuff, was that we're convinced that when he met Robyn, that was the first time that Kody experienced organic love. Right. What he thought was love or whatever. That's just what they're all in polygamy. This is just what people do, and this is the kind of relationships that people have and stuff. But then he met Robyn, and then there were like fireworks and all the things. And
Hey, Fraudcasters. Now that we're in the thick of summer, you, like me, might be looking for some wholesome, convenient meals to support your sunny, active days. Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kit, can help you fuel up fast with flavorful and nutritious ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You're going to save time, eat well, and stay on track of reaching your goals. Are you too busy with your summer plans to cook, or it's too hot, or you're running around and you want to make sure you're eating well but don't just want to eat your kids like leftover chicken nuggets? With Factor, skip the extra trip to the grocery store, the chopping, the prepping, the cleaning up too, all of that. Skip all of that while still getting the flavor and nutritional quality you need. Factor's fresh, never frozen meals are ready in just 2 minutes. So all you have to do is heat them up and enjoy, and then get back outside and soak up that warm weather. Are you looking for delicious, calorie conscious options this summer? Try delicious dietitian approved calorie smart meals with around 550 calories or less per serving. This personally is the plan that I'm currently using, and I love it. They're extra flavorful, they're really good, and I know I'm getting good, healthy, quality food, and then I can get back to work. I work from home and it's just me right now. So these are the perfect meal for me for lunch or for dinner. If it's just me for dinner and I don't have the kids and I don't have the husband and all of that, these are so perfect. I don't have to cook. I don't have to worry about cleaning. I don't have to shop. I have my healthy, calorie conscious meals ready to go right in front of me. So this July, get Factor and enjoy eating well without the hassle. Simply choose your meals and enjoy fresh, flavor-packed meals delivered to your door, ready in just 2 minutes. No prep, no mess. Head to factormeals.com/fraudcast50 and use code fraudcast50 to get 50% off. That's code fraudcast50 at factormeals.com/fraudcast50 to get 50% off. Hey, Fraudcasters. You guys already know that I love my SKIMS. It all started with their Fits Everybody collection, which is the softest underwear ever, and my favorite, the Fits Everybody t-shirt bra, which I now have in multiple colors. I was seeing their cotton loungewear all over my feed, so I had to see for myself what the hype was about. I am an absolute sucker for a good cotton, soft loungewear set. And let me tell you, these did not disappoint. They are the cutest, most flattering sets you will find ever. SKIMS is creating the next generation of loungewear for every body. I am currently wearing my most favorite from this collection, which is the boxers and the tank top in this beautiful kyanite color. This is so soft, and especially in the summer and with me and my MS and always being hot, this cotton is so nice and cool against my skin. I just love it. It's this great fabric, and I'm absolutely just in love with this new cotton collection. This is SKIMS' most tagged collection. It is made with a classic cotton fabric for the most comfortable everyday wear. It's made from ultra soft and natural fibers. The cotton collection features elevated lounge pieces designed for comfort indoors or outside. Whoever said loungewear was only for inside the house hasn't tried SKIMS. Available in sizes double extra small up to size 4X. So believe the hype. SKIMS has over 100,000 5-star reviews for a reason. The cotton collection and more are available now at skims.com. Plus, you get free shipping on orders over $75. After you place your order, be sure to let them know we sent you. Select podcast in the survey and select our show, The Fraudcast, in the drop-down menu that follows. Hey, Fraudcasters. I'm here again talking about my Nutrafol. I use it, I love it, and you should use it too. Did you know that hair thinning will happen to approximately 1 in 2 women? If you're among them, know that you're not alone. Thinning is completely normal, and Nutrafol helps women address it from within with science-backed supplements. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist recommended hair growth supplement, clinically shown to improve visible thickness and strength. From postpartum to menopause to plant-based lifestyles, and no matter your life stage, Nutrafol has 4 unique formulas to support women. Each is physician formulated using drug-free, science-backed ingredients, so you will get the most reliable results. Go to Nutrafol.com to take their hair health wellness quiz. Identify causes of your thinning hair, and Nutrafol will give you a personalized plan for better hair growth through their whole body health approach. Nutrafol supports healthy hair growth from within by targeting root causes of thinning: stress, hormones, environment, nutrition, lifestyle, metabolism, through whole body health. Nutrafol is now available in a vegan formula. Their newest supplement is formulated for women ages 18 plus with plant-based lifestyles who are experiencing signs of hair thinning. In a clinical study, 86% of women reported improved hair growth after taking Nutrafol Women's Hair Growth Supplement for 6 months. Take the first step to visibly thicker, healthier hair. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code FRAUD. Find out why over 4,000 healthcare professionals recommend Nutrafol for healthier hair. Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com, promo code FRAUD. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code FRAUD.
Organic love, and then he didn't realize it, but he was like,
Right.
spending more and more time, and then basically living monogamous, and then it didn't start to. I don't know. Like, we didn't start to see it till COVID, but they clearly did start to see it earlier than that. So interesting.
Yeah, and then Christine made a comment in this episode too at some point saying that Kody strung Meri along, and how cold and heartless of a person do you have to be to do that to somebody? I was just thinking about that too. Just like
talking about Meri and how she's kind of just hanging in there and stuff, but like the rest of the women are like, he talks so poorly of her. It's just so sad. Like, that's just wrong. Like, how can you be okay?
Yeah. And that's why, oh, wow. Christine's getting ready for her 50th birthday party, and it's a sticky situation on who she's going to invite, because obviously she's not going to invite Kody, but she wants to invite his mom and some of his close friends.
Doesn't this party sound awesome? This 50s sock hop party with like ice cream sundaes and soda fountain and all this stuff. I'm like, I want to be there.
Oh my gosh. And then they were talking about the celebrity she has a crush on, Shamar Moore.
Oh
and
my
I'm like,
God.
Can somebody please hook her up? Like, can we hashtag Shamar Moore and like whatever post you do so we can get the attention of him?
Absolutely.
Not that the Fraudcast will be the one to bring them together, but you never know. Social media. Everybody, we just got to ask everybody to tag him in it. Let's get him to meet Christine.
We'll join in with that.
Right. I know she is a boyfriend and she's happy, or a fiance.
She's got a fiance, and we're not like seriously gonna like hook up her and Shamar Moore, but they should at least meet.
No, 100%. Let her have some window candy, eye candy. Yeah. My God, this woman has been
some of the spoils of her stardom.
She's been living in her sacred loneliness for far too long.
Sacred loneliness.
Like, come on, Shamar Moore, are you out there?
Shamar Moore.
Yes. Well, then we go back to the preview we saw at the end of last episode where Meri is like, I'm making a big move, or I'm moving on. And I was like, yeah, you ain't going nowhere. And you and I talked about this, but we find out that she's moving her clothing line for her clothing business, not her clothing line, sorry, to Southern Utah.
My God. Okay. So I'm so mad about this because I fell for the bullshit, and I'm very pissed off at you guys because you pulled some 90 Day Fiance cheap ass bullshit, and I call shenanigans. That was not okay. The preview, the cut for the preview made it look like she was saying these things, the sayonara, peace out, sayonara, sucker. All that stuff made it sound like she was saying this stuff and that something big, actually big was happening. And I fell for it because I'm like, no, they don't pull this 90 Day Fiance bullshit with us. But they did. You called it. You were nope, nothing. She's not leaving him, blah, blah, blah. And sure enough, she makes it very clear. She's not leaving the family. She's not leaving Kody. She's been splitting her time so much between Southern Utah at the B&B and Flagstaff, because, there's so much required of her in Flagstaff.
Yep.
Like what? No, she's been at the fucking B&B until she's at the B&B until they need her to film, and she'll drive up. She gets out of her car, puts a blanket over her, films with Robyn, and then films
Kody.
with
Kody doesn't make eye contact with her.
Right. And then that's it. And then I don't know, 3 hours later, they're done filming and she goes back. But she's like, oh, I've been splitting my time and it's so hard and da 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 da. So I'm gonna wait for it, like drum roll, like this big huge thing, move my clothing business to Southern Utah. Now, first of all, her clothing business, it's her fucking LuLaRoe MLM bullshit. That's not a clothing business. That's a cult. I guess it would be the first one you were in, Meri.
Remember when she went on those lives and was blocking people and stuff and acting crazy? I never watched it. You sent me something and I was like,
I did. I think I sent you some
I was
clips.
like, I can't even. I was like,
she was being such a bitch to people.
Like, oh my God. She's like, oh yeah, block. Oh yeah, block.
So her clothing business is her multi-level marketing LuLaRoe, which is not a business. Let's make that clear. If you don't believe that these are not businesses, if you think that these are actual business opportunities, ladies, and that you actually own your own business, I'm sorry to tell you that is not true. Please go listen to Life After MLM podcast by our dear friend Roberta Blevins. And she will help set you straight and help you with resources to get out. Anyway, that aside.
Yeah. So while everyone thinks that she's, talking about leaving the family, she's not. She then says Kody basically has left me already and I'm not leaving the family.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, how many times do I have to hear this? You're not leaving the family.
Mm-hmm.
I roll. Kody can't get rid of her. She's trying to punish Kody, but it's not working. He literally doesn't care.
Yeah, he literally could not care any less than he did.
So Janelle thinks that Meri is holding out hope. And she says that Kody doesn't even speak highly of her, which is what we talked about earlier.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And then Meri goes on to say that Kody has had conversations about their relationship with other people and other wives, but hasn't even had that conversation with her. How messed up is that?
And that she feels like she can't leave without at least owing them that conversation.
Right.
You don't owe him anything.
No, walk.
No, you do not owe him anything. But you know what?
You owe yourself happiness and love. That's what you owe yourself. And that's not going to be by sticking around just to piss him off or whatever your reasons are.
So I think that, so she says, that she's not leaving or whatever, but I think that like functionally she is, like, because how is this any different from before, right? Because what's really holding her in Flagstaff? Nothing. She runs the B&B. She runs her clothing, her MLM cult, like wannabe. I'm in a cult and call it my clothing business. What does she have in Flagstaff other than filming with them when they're out sitting around outside as a family? Nothing. Exactly. So I don't think anything is really actually changing with this. I think this is what she's been doing all along.
Yeah, I do.
But now we're all going to be like, okay, you got that big ass motherfucking house in there in Flagstaff. And what's happening there? Nothing.
I still never understood why they had Meri in that house.
I don't know.
It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Never made a sense. It never made sense. It never made sense when she was getting all of these extras and additions when they were building the house in Las Vegas. It doesn't make sense now.
No. I think that's what?
The other thing that reminds me that they were talking about, maybe we're not there yet. Maybe it was, I don't remember. If we're skipping it, I don't know. There was a scene where Janelle is talking about the finances and the houses and stuff and how there was this time. I think it was at the beginning. She was saying there was this time where before Robyn bought the house and Janelle didn't think that they should buy a house. And Robyn, to her credit, I remember this, she didn't want to buy a house either. She wanted a rental. Kody was the one pushing for her to buy a house. And both Janelle and Robyn were like, we shouldn't buy a house. But Janelle at least was like, financially, we're not going to be it's not setting us up for success for going on the land in order to buy that house right now. Cause it was like almost $1 million. Like she knew that. Right. And now Janelle's bringing up that conversation as a point to like be like, oh, Kody likes to bring up this conversation and be like, oh, you were so mean to Robyn, and when she, about this house and told her she couldn't do or whatever,
Yeah.
But it brings up a good point, and that's again one of those things that we're all saying, and we're wondering why they don't see it. Are they that dumb? It turns out, no, they're not actually that dumb. Which makes me so happy, because it makes me like, oh, okay, I do actually love them. I do like Janelle. I do, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I like Janelle and Christine. I just feel sorry for them.
I do. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Not so much Christine anymore.
They grew, that's what they grew. That's what they were raised in, right? They were raised to believe this is what you do, and this is what makes you happy, and this is what makes God happy and stuff. And then,
well, Janelle wasn't.
What?
Janelle wasn't.
Wasn't she raised? I mean, she was raised all around it. Her mom married Kody's dad.
Yeah, but that was like later on, right?
I think that's what made Kody's dad a polygamist, was marrying Janelle's mom. I don't know, but she grew up around it. Even if her family itself wasn't plural family right away, like, she at least grew up around it, they all knew each other and everything. So, I mean, that's just what you're raised around. That's what you think, and then they're, got probably TLC in the show credit, they got to experience more things, and then they got to see the big outside world, the worldly world, worldly school and worldly things, pursuits, as the Bible thumpers like to say.
You know how like when some men have a midlife crisis, they have affairs, or they like buy a really expensive sports car. I feel like Kody's dad had a midlife crisis and decided to be a polygamist. Like, oh my God, God
and
has
Kody's
called
having
me.
a midlife crisis, and instead of having an affair, he's dropping wives and going out. He's becoming a monogamous.
Right. He's doing the opposite. Yeah. Okay. I will say, to Kody's credit or defense, it's got to be stressful to try to manage having relations with that many wives and that many kids.
Okay, yes, but I'm
not defending him. Not defending him.
I'm so annoyed that they keep saying, "Oh, it's so hard on Kody. Poor Kody. Poor Kody." Dude, you chose this.
I know. And then you kept adding wives on. He could have been like, after 2 or 3, been like, I'm done, right? Like, I can't do it anymore.
Dilute them, because he didn't like them, remember? So he'd get another one to dilute them. And they
kind of like when you get a new toy, and then you're done playing with the old one, because it's just.
I think that's exactly what he did.
Yeah. And I'm not comparing. I'm sorry. I'm not saying women are old toys, but what I'm saying is he's treating them like they are.
But that's how he behaves. Yeah. They talked about it last week, him dilute, the new wives dilute the other ones out. So if he, instead of divorcing his wives, he'll just add another one, and it will help dilute the pain, the annoyance of the ones you don't get along with.
Right. I don't think he's going to take on any new wives, do you, in the future?
I think, yeah, he will.
You think so?
I don't know, because if he did fall in love with Robyn, I don't know. I mean, I feel like he's eventually going to run out of people to control with just Robyn and her kids. So he's going to, you know what I mean? That's where my concern is like, at some point he's going to run out of things to control, and he's going to need more to add more to his fiefdom.
Also he's a narcissist, so he needs more people to admire him and worship him. And if everybody moves away and it's just Robyn, oh God, worshiping him all day long.
Right.
Is that enough? I don't know.
Right. That's why, I think he's going to.
I wish I had to take an undergrad. I had to take philosophy for my psych degree. I had to take like 2 philosophy classes. Wasn't a huge fan. It was cool, whatever. But like, I wish I had known about the polygamist and all that back then. I would have been able to write some really interesting philosophical papers on.
Oh yeah,
on just thinking of like things outside. It's a
shame we don't learn what we need to learn for cool college papers until after college.
I know. Right? I'm like, man, I could have written some crazy shit about this. I don't know.
Anyway, so I think that's it, right? That was like,
yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, Christine says that she's glad he didn't string her along for years like he's doing
like
to
he's
Meri.
been doing for Meri. Oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then next week we see Meri moving her clothing business and Janelle having an appointment. She scheduled in a meeting with Kody after not seeing him for 6 weeks. And then we hear her tell Kody she wants to stay separated. And his reaction looked a little upset, which I don't know why, because, you know, damn well he doesn't want to be with her.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, it wasn't his idea. So,
right. You got to make it his idea. And he can't be the one to leave you because, you know,
he's going to hell or something. Or
he's got to maintain the narrative that he's a victim.
Right.
He and Robyn are perennial victims.
Yep.
You know,
forever victim.
They're both victims and somehow managed to be both victims yet God complexes at the same time. I don't know how, but whatever. Anyway, that's this week's show. We'll get this out to you guys just as soon as possible. And thank you. If you enjoy what you're listening to, please, if you can, leave us a review on Apple iTunes. That would really help us out a lot. A 5-star and review. Wait, what words? 5-star review. Katrina can't speak. Okay. And with that, I think I'm going to go shower and go to bed.
Good night, everyone.